All right, everybody. Welcome to Badging in Canvas. My name is Steve Hartnett. I am the Director of Digital Teaching and Learning. And with me today is a world-renowned Assistant Superintendent from Elizabeth Forward School District, Mr. Keith Connick. Mr. Connick, you want to introduce yourself?
I will. First of all, I'll question the world-renowned part, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. My name is Keith Connick. I'm the Assistant Superintendent at Elizabeth Forward School District. Steve and I work very closely on all things Canvas and professional development related. So we're really excited to share with you what we did with Canvas and Badger to provide kindergarten badging for our students.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, to keep the conversation going, please consider following Keith and I on Twitter. If anything, you should get a good laugh because I think we're pretty entertaining on social media, if I don't say so myself there, Mr. Connick. But with that, like Keith said, we are excited to talk a little bit about our badging experience and journey inside of Canvas and using that Badger LTI.
Sure, Steve, thanks. First of all, just to tell you a couple things about the school district. I know this video is going to go out to a lot of districts in the Allegheny Intermediate Unit, but there's going to be some people from outside. They're going to see this as well. So we'll just tell you a little bit about the Elizabeth Forward School District. We're just outside of Pittsburgh. We have right around 2,300 students, 184 teachers, 6 different schools. We are about 42 to 45% free and reduced lunch. So by those metrics, we are not a wealthy district, but we have decided to make some conscious decisions to invest a lot of our resources in technology. One of the primary investments has been our one-to-one school district iPad initiative. We've had iPads in kids' hands, K through 12, all the way back for about 10 years. So we're really excited about that. And today we're going to share with you a lot about how we've taken those iPads and then connected those with Canvas.
Absolutely. So just to give a little bit of history, and we'll dive a little bit more into this. When I was actually not in this current role, my administrative role, but when I was an 8th grade teacher, our district had released and implemented a badging system using a piece of software called FreshGrade. And then from there, we decided to make a switch to Canvas as well, our learning management system. We'll explain that here in a moment. And then we went over to, within Canvas, the Badger LTI as well.
I get a little nervous every time Steve mentions FreshGrade, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But we started all the way back in 2015 with having conversations about badging. We worked closely with our kindergarten teachers, our elementary principals to develop just over 60 badges, really clear skills that we wanted every kindergarten student to leave with. If they didn't leave with those skills, we wanted to be able to identify them very quickly, and badging was perfect for that. We've gotten rid of all of our grades, and those students in kindergarten just are assessed by those badges. So in August of 2017 through 2019, we have these beautiful physical badges, which are about 2x2 squares that we get, and we physically give them to the students. That was always a nice thing. Our kindergarten teachers did a fantastic job by rolling out a red carpet, sending the kids up. They put their badges on a ring and they hang them up. Really proud moment in the classroom. That was great. We also recognized that we needed to have a digital component so that we could share this information with the parents. FreshGrade was a tool that did that for us. FreshGrade provided just online evidence and feedback to parents about where their students were in terms of badges. So it was really nice. There were some flaws. It was not designed for badging, so there were some flaws. Once we were doing that for 2 years, we then introduced Canvas to our staff in June of 2019. I think something I'm pretty proud of, and I think Steve should be proud of as well, is our implementation of Canvas happened pretty quickly. We had some summer in-service training for teachers. 130 out of 180 of our teachers came in for that voluntary training during the summertime. And we really got Canvas up and rolling by probably December of that year. We had every teacher with a companion page. There was also a nice component that went with this. And Steve, if you want to talk about how Canvas and Badger, another one of the many integrations that Canvas has that you can use and make things a lot more smooth.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the first, charges of responsibility of me was how can we incorporate our kindergarten students within badging, right? Or inside Canvas, I should say. that there's always, questions of how do kindergarten through about second grade students, access Canvas. This is prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. And so, talking with kindergarten teachers, we were thinking, is there a way that we could somehow implement and integrate our badging program that we've had success with into Canvas? And of course, there is that Badger LTI. Now, Badger recently, as of last week, was acquired by Instructure, the company that owns Canvas. So that's pretty exciting. But to make a very long story short, it was one of those things where myself sitting down with our kindergarten teachers, our assistant superintendent who's with me, also our building principals, having everyone together working on this project of getting badges into Canvas. And it was one of our really first early wins. And once teachers, not even our kindergarten teachers, but teachers in elementary saw what could be done with Badger and inside Canvas, it really has exploded. And we'll talk a little bit more about how badging has expanded at Elizabeth Forward momentarily.
So back when we started those conversations about badging, I think that grades in kindergarten, a student getting an A, B, C, or D really did not help us understand what that kid was able to do or what they knew. So they really kind of decided that the grades in kindergarten were just not that meaningful. We really involved a lot of people in this process. Everybody from kindergarten teachers to elementary school principals made the decisions about which one of these skills were most important. Really kind of started with the end in mind. What do we want students to leave kindergarten with? And you'll see a couple of samples here. We identified 68 different badges. They're in reading, math, practical, and there's some advanced badges that really kind of extend this to almost enrichment opportunities for kids to reach those badges. Steve?
Absolutely. Yeah, we were really fortunate to have a former Elizabeth Forward student turn graphic designer design our badges for us. So we think they look extra just unique, and they're very Elizabeth Forward-esque, if you want to call it that. But in addition, it also, when students see the actual physical badge and also the digital version, it entices them to want to earn them, right? And actually want to go ahead and learn the specific skills. And as Mr. Connick said, we have 4 different types. You can see that our advanced badges are in gold, our practical badges are in silver, we have our reading badges, which are in red, and our mathematics badges, which are in blue.
And really a nice surprise. I guess it wasn't a surprise. Anytime you gamify things for kids, they really get excited. So like I told you, when they get that badge handed to them, it was really an award, a token, really an accomplishment that they were really, really excited about.
Right.
We began this with flexibility on the assessment of each skill. So we trained all of our kindergarten aides. Our kindergarten teachers were very comfortable with this, but we really got comfortable with assessing each skill and setting up requirements for those. So we were consistent throughout the districts. They had the opportunity to demonstrate what they know, and we went back to this multiple times. So even if students weren't able to demonstrate, really the sense of excitement once they were able to accomplish that skill after they maybe had failed the first time was really a great opportunity for kids too. And they really did. They got them. Some of those walked in with skills. We all know how kindergarten kids are. Some of them walk in with amazing set of skills. So some of them got badges the first week. And then we talked already about the fact that we had a digital and a physical component.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think one thing that, you and I talk about all the time is when we go in and those first couple of weeks when badges are starting to be awarded to our students, the way that our teachers have now just, fine-tuned and perfected how they assess the badges for the badges is just, it's awesome. It's definitely, working with younger students like kindergarten, you think it's going to be like crazy in a madhouse, but it's actually not. The students or the teachers have it down to a science, and it's a lot of fun to actually be there and watch it happen.
And I have to talk really quickly, Steve, about one of the least fun parts of badging, those physical badges. We have about 200 or about 180 to 200 kindergarten kids, 70 badges per kid that we had distributed. I was the guy who was put in charge of sorting those and helping our elementary principals. So every time that box came in, it was an exciting time on one hand, also a very, also tedious time. So yeah, I think this is really great. I love the parent testimonials, Steve. You want to?
Yeah, totally. So yeah, absolutely. We have a video that's going to be on our next slide. We're not going to go ahead and show it just for the sake of time of this presentation, but we'll make sure we link to it so everyone can watch it if they'd like to. But it's just a really great history about our badging program. But it stops right at the Canvas side when we adopted Canvas. But this quote comes from that video. It's from Joe and Jessica Mall, who were kindergarten parents a few years ago. And basically what it just says to us is, and I can relate to this now, my son's about to go to kindergarten. And even now when he's in preschool, I ask him, hey, what'd you do in school today? And his answer is, well, I don't know, nothing, right? And so badges tell us exactly what happened and what our students did that day. It gives, I'm just gonna read the quote, it says, badging has given us a way to ask our daughters something very specific about what had happened that day. And that's absolutely true. With Badger, with Canvas, with the whole badging program, our parents are very well aware of what is exactly going on in that classroom on any given day. And it's one of the beauties of the program and one of the things that we really love about it at Elizabeth Forward.
I always say that it's broken down the walls of the classroom. Those parents really have a really clear insight into what's going on in the classroom. So that's good. They want to offer support, and we're giving them an opportunity to do that by knowing exactly where their kids are, where their needs might be. I talked about fresh grade, and again, every time I see that word, I get a little bit shaken. Fresh grade was really helpful for us in terms of the digital component. When we started this, it was extremely labor intensive. So that means that Dr. Karushkin and I, our superintendent, spent about, I think we averaged it out to be about 20 hours per teacher, and we have 9 teachers. So we spent, and a lot of times on the weekend, sitting around just getting this done while maybe we were watching a football game, uploading all the data, the photos, all that information into Fresh Grade so that the digital component would be available. So Fresh Grade wasn't built for this. So it was good, it worked, but again, it was labor intensive. And there were a few things that didn't help us either. There were some issues with when the kid achieved the skill, then those things weren't communicated very quickly to the parents, which was a problem. So Fresh Grade, while it served its purpose, we were very clearly looking for an alternative.
Absolutely. And everyone knows in Southwestern Pennsylvania, it is sacrilegious to do anything during a Steelers Sunday. So although I wasn't involved in those at that time, I could definitely relate. And so Canvas came along in 2019, and we had similar experiences. We had a prior learning management system called eBackpack, and that's the one that I utilized as an 8th grade teacher at the time. And for the first couple of years, eBackpack was great. It was basic, and that's exactly what we needed at the time at Elizabeth Forward. But as we continued to grow and become better and more aware of the functionality of a learning management system, eBackpack didn't, for lack of better words. And through piloting and several other learning management systems, Canvas was chosen for our district, and it was one of my first charges in my new position to implement it kindergarten through 12th grade. And as I said before, we were looking for an early win, especially at that early elementary age. And, our superintendent and our assistant superintendent spoke to me about how can we get badging into Canvas? And if we can, that'd be amazing. And of course, the Badger LTI. And again, as I mentioned before, it's just ironic that Canvas, or Instructure, the company that owns Canvas, now owns Badger as well. And hopefully you'll see through the presentation today that this is just a great product, a great application. And if you're not using it, I would highly recommend to, because it's easy, but and very effective as well.
And I think it's important to know too, we ask a lot of our teachers, and they step up for us constantly and for our kids, and we're always impressed with how much they do. And anytime we can find something that's going to increase ease of use for them and for the kids, it's a huge win. So we really saw Badger as an opportunity to make the situation better for the kids, and also hopefully alleviate some of the pressures on the teacher by giving them that digital tool that was really effective.
Amen, Dr. Karushkin. Amen, Mr. Connick. And I totally agree with you. And it's one thing, in my position, teachers, when I asked, how can I help? They said, well, if you can give me more hours in the day, that'd be great, Steve. So having something like Badger absolutely saves time. And now I'm going to talk a little bit more specifically about the Badger program. I promise you, I'm not paid by Badger or Instructure or Canvas, but if they're watching and listening and they'd like to throw us a few dollars here and there, I'm going to take it. So first and foremost, Badger is unlimited. So in Canvas, you can award as many badges as you want. So we have some teachers who have 10 badges. And as you saw in kindergarten badging, we're getting close to near 70 badges now. So a whole wide variety in terms of the number of badges you can give your students inside. And as Mr. Koenig mentioned, it's motivational. So there's intrinsic motivation, there's extrinsic motivation by our learners, and we're gamifying learning. And there's tons of research that supports this. Badgers also, as you can see, serves as a way to empower students to track their own progress. And we'll talk a little bit about how our students, but also how our faculty is using and keeping track of their badges as well. It's automated. So, and this is a great thing because it saves time. Badges are automatically awarded in Canvas, and it can also allow them to see and have meaningful credentials. We can see even now that there are some colleges, universities, and professions who are looking at things like micro-credentials, like badges. And now that our students are becoming accustomed to what these are and how they work, I think it's giving our students kind of a leg up in terms of some of the competition. And then finally, we're looking at this word compatible. Badger for Canvas is based on this open badging standard. So if a student earns a badge, well, I should go back. If you go ahead and utilize Badger, you have access to all these open badges. So you don't have to create anything from scratch, which is, again, going back to that time saving component that we talked about. And also it allows our students to be able to share their badges. And we'll get to that part in one moment here, but also allows them to share with each other, obviously with their parents, but also to prospective employers, colleges, and universities as well. And so just to reiterate some of the key takeaways, Badger, to install it, it takes maybe 5 minutes or less. And it's something that if you're not aware how to do, your Canvas administrator can absolutely help you with it. To create badges, you can create badges in Canvas, or you can pull them from your Badger accounts. You can award badges one at a time, or you can do it in bulk based on completion requirements that you've set up. And you can have students share their badges, so they can share them directly from Canvas to networks, social media, etc., that matter most to them. And real quick, just an overview of how we go ahead and issue and add Badger to Canvas. Badger is an LTI app to your course. And if you don't see that in your Canvas course, then contact your Canvas administrator. You'll see, and we'll demonstrate this in a second, of where you can look for it. You can add module requirements, and that's how we at Elizabeth Ford award our badges. We set module requirements. We'll demonstrate that as well to make it really easy to give out those badges. You can publish your module in your course. You create an issuer, and you create the badges, and then you assign the badges to the modules. And then you check for the badges regularly for them to populate on the student's end as well. So although those are several bullet points, I promise you it's not that bad. And I'm going to do just a quick demonstration of what that looks like. So
you kind of might be sounding like a little bit like a Canvas or Badger commercial there. You're not working for them.
You know what? I'm telling you, if they're watching this and they want to, throw me a couple dollar bills here and there, I'm definitely going to take it. So
in all seriousness, I think it's important to note that we do feel strongly about the product, and we are promoting it because we think that it's really helpful for kids and for teachers. I would encourage anybody who's more curious about any of our badging at the kindergarten level or any beyond that, to have a conversation with our teachers. They're really the best people to be able to tell you how effective badging's been.
Yeah. Absolutely. Ask any of our teachers, their testimonials, I think, will speak volume. So right now I'm inside one of our Canvas courses for our teachers. It's our Apple Teacher Relaunch Professional Development course that Mr. Koenig and myself have been highly involved with. And we just recently added a badging component to this. Now we have badging components to other professional learning courses for our teachers as well. What I wanted to point out first and foremost is if you have inside your course navigation badges, awesome. You've been configured, you're ready to go. If you don't see this, a couple of things that you can do. You can go into your settings. You can go into navigation and just see if badges is somewhere down here in that disabled list of applications and features. And then all you need to do is just drag it up and click save. If you don't see it anywhere, then you need to contact your Canvas administrator and they can help you with that. So the first thing that you need to do within Badger is to go ahead and create an issuer. Issuers are how you group badges. Now I want to give everyone a very helpful tip. If you are someone like Elizabeth Ford and you're relatively new to Canvas, dare I say a new administrator like myself a few years ago, what you need to do is if you have different types of badges. So for example, we mentioned we have 4 types of kindergarten badges. Put them all into one issuer. Don't make 4 separate accounts because every Canvas course can only have 1 issuer. So you have to imagine my little bit of frustration when I went ahead and created these different issuers, right? For reading, practical skills, advanced skills, and math skills. And I realized like, oh, wait, I can only pick 1. So we put all of our badges into 1. So first step is to create issuer. The second step is to create badges. Now there's 2 ways that you can do this. The first way is when you create an issuer, you'll name it and then you can design badges right there. Or what you can do is you can create an account with Badger. And just to showcase this, you can create the issuer and then you can go ahead and begin to upload badges. And you go here to create a badge. And then we'll give some tips and tricks about how to design actual badges. Inside Badger is where you're gonna just tell everyone, for example, here's our keynote badge. You describe the earning criteria. You describe maybe a website or a link that explains it a little bit more. You can tag for standards, so on and so forth. And what I've noticed with Badger is it gets a little bit more detailed every so often, which gives your students and also the parents of the students a little bit more information of how they can earn that badge. So using the Badger program, that's what I personally use, but you can do this all within Canvas as well. So once you've gone ahead and created your Badger issuers inside your Canvas course, you'll then see that these are tied on the left-hand side to your Canvas modules. And you'll just select the badge over in this area right here of what badge you want to go with that module. When we look at the module side, badges are awarded by module completion. And so just a friendly little tip here, when you create a module, you can click on the 3 little dots. Some people call it a vertical kebab. I've heard it called the hot dog. I heard it called the snowman, whatever you want to call it, these 3 dots, and you click edit. This is where we can set requirements. So from right here, we have a keynote badge. This is an assignment. We made it 1 point for our staff, score at least. And once they submit it and we review it and we say, okay, awesome, we give you 1 point, then that automatically triggers that badge being awarded. So again, just to kind of reiterate everything, so that's a lot of information, but I promise you it's very easy. Make sure you have Badger LTI installed in your Canvas course. If not, talk to your Canvas administrator in your district. From there, you want to go ahead and create an issuer. And again, if you have different types of badges, just put them all into 1 issuer because you can only have or utilize 1 issuer per course. And then from there, you want to go ahead and start creating and putting items in modules. This module is not very, it's very basic. It's just 1 item, but you can have a laundry list of items for students to go through to complete. And once students complete those items that you tell them to within that module requirements, automatically, and that gets that automated part, it automatically awards the badges for the students. So again, a little bit of moving parts, but nothing that I know that our teachers can't handle for sure. Let me go back to our presentation here.
Awesome. Great job, Steve. Thanks for sharing all that. I know.
Yeah, no problem.
Sometimes I don't want to know how a Swiss watch is made. I just want to know what time it is. That's why it's nice. That's why it's nice to have somebody like Steve around that can take care of all that back end stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things where if you talk to your Canvas administrator for your school district, I'm sure they'd be happy to help you. These QR codes we put here on purpose, these are resources that can help you. Checklist for badging in Canvas, how you automatically award badges in Canvas. And finally, there is a way for students to submit evidence to earn a badge. So they submit something and you review it. It's a little bit more complicated than what I just showed you, that module completion. So you can check that out if you're interested in something like that. Real quick, the question that we get a lot from our teachers of Elizabeth Forward is, I love the idea, Steve, of badging, but I'm not very creative in terms of designing the badges. Do you have anything that can help us or help me? And the answer is absolutely we do. So I'm sure you're aware, it's blowing up all over Twitter and other social media. But if you're not and you haven't checked this out, Canva, and it's just ironic that it sounds like Canvas, is a great tool for designing literally everything. Badges. I just redesigned our Elizabeth Forward golf outing brochure. You can do things with different types of social media posts, so on and so forth. But I did just want to showcase this real quick. If you go into Canva, create an education account. It gives you some freebies as teachers, and you get to your Canvas dashboard here. And if you just search the word badges, I can go ahead and it'll bring us some templates that we can utilize. And so, for example, one that I love to showcase, if I can find it real quick, is this one right here. Very easy to use. I can just click on an area and I can go ahead and just, rename that. So maybe I just want to call it EF badge. And I can go ahead and resize by clicking on the font. There we go. I can click on a part of the color. I don't like that salmon color. I want to make it EF, so I'm going to make it red. This orange bar, maybe I'll make it black. And I can also add different pictures as well. So I can drag and drop. I can upload pictures. I think I have, if I remember correctly, a picture of, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. We could add Mr. Connick as a badge, right? So maybe we'll, make him a little bit smaller here. Look at that. There's the Keith Connick badge. EF badge, we can obviously get rid of the food festival and the Sunday market. And then from here, you obviously would spend a lot more time than I'm demonstrating, right? But it's very easy to use Canva. We go to share, and then you can go ahead and download it right to your computer and upload it into Canvas, or if you're going through the Badger way, upload it into Badger and begin describing the requirements, so on and so forth. So
Steve, you're going to put my picture on a food festival badge. Thank you. That's real fun.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. See, it's my review isn't in for a couple of months, so I can get away with those types of things for right now. But in all seriousness, Canva is a great tool. You can see just on my homepage right here, designing badges for that Apple Teacher Relaunch course that we just showed is a really easy way to do so, easy way to download them. And so I definitely recommend, even if it's not for badging, to check it out. And other tools that you can use, one that I love to use is Keynote. Keynote has custom shapes, and you can combine shapes in unique different ways to make your own as well. There's a tons of shapes library in Keynote, and you can obviously export those Keynote slides as pictures and upload them into Badger or Canvas for your badging program. So definitely a couple of ones and programs we like to use Elizabeth Forward, but please, if you have time, check out Canva, check out Keynote. Those are our recommendations for anyone who's looking to design their own badges.
And Steve always reminds me that, if it's easy enough for a very experienced assistant superintendent to be able to use and produce stuff from Canva, then it must be pretty easy. So I use Canva all the time. I don't have access to a professional graphic designer. It's really nice to make some professional kind of things to push out to the public or for our kids. So it's a great tool.
Everybody, he's selling himself short. We call him Keith Canva here because he uses Canva a ton, and he's actually really good at it. So a lot of the things that Mr. Connick pushes out, they always ask, like, wow, who made that? And it's Mr. Connick, and he uses Canva. So really a great tool. Real quick, yeah, no problem. We utilize, obviously, the Canvas student app on our iPads because we were one-to-one iPad school district. We wanted to kind of showcase what this looks like. So this is one of our badging courses. It has changed just a little bit this school year, but this is from previous school years. But first and foremost, it's kindergarten students, and we want to make that navigation as easy as possible. So students can click on that big rectangle where it says My Badges on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, this is the actual Badger piece. And this is what we love. It's very visual, right? And that's really important for our kindergarten students and their parents. Badges that are earned are in color, right? So you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 badges that have been earned. Badges that have yet to be earned, they are in the silhouette, so they're gray and black. A student or a parent can go ahead and tap on that, and they get more information. For example, this recites as 25. We see who it was awarded to. We can also see and click on it to see, what the earning criteria was. So a student can correctly recite numbers to 25. We can see when that was earned, when the badge was created as well. So this badge was created, January 15th of 2020. It was earned September 30th. So you can see there's a lot of information at the tip of your finger, or, just at your tip of your fingertips there for you to go ahead and access from a student perspective, from a parent perspective as well. So again, hopefully you can see it's that visual piece that's really nice for our early learners.
Yeah, I think that one of the nice thing about our teachers is they're always kind of thinking about new ways to utilize a lot of the tools that we have. So when teachers outside of the kindergarten classroom started seeing opportunities and starting to see how badging was effective with our kindergarten kids, what they did is they started to look for other uses. And one of the uses that they found was a reading challenge that was put together by some of our reading specialists at the elementary level, where students would get points based on the number of reading assignments that they covered. So huge motivator. This was an additional challenge on top of what they were doing in the classroom, really kind of helping kids just to get interested in reading. So this is an example of some of those badges that we use for our reading challenge. I think there's some other ones, Steve.
Yeah,
You work on
absolutely.
this.
And one thing that was great about this was during the pandemic, during school closures. So a teacher had contacted me and said, I want to do something to motivate and keep my students motivated during school closures. Any ideas, Steve? And we worked together to create this. And we actually had a lot of students earn, that is 100 points. We created ones for, they had to complete a bingo like page as well. So, and students absolutely, and parents absolutely loved it. They appreciated the fact that this teacher went above and beyond, especially during that really difficult time.
Yeah. Our music teacher is now running with this. She's done an amazing job of finding badges for kids and finding tools for our music students. Steve, you work directly with Miss Oakes on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mrs. Oakes is a fantastic, fantastic music educator. If you're someone who is a music educator, especially in elementary, and you're looking for a good Twitter, follower, Christy Oakes. Yeah, I'm like stumbling over my words, but she is a great follow on Twitter because she just has tons of information, insight, and creative ideas. And she was explaining to me that she has this recorder karate curriculum that she utilizes, and her students were kind of into it, but kind of not. They're fourth graders and fifth graders. And she asked, "Do I think badging could motivate students?" And I said, "Yeah, let's definitely see what happens. What's the worst that could happen, right?" And it completely has blown up. Right, students are engaged. What they do is they record themselves completing a song on the recorder, and then they send it through Canvas to Mrs. Oakes, who then reviews it, gives them feedback, and if they do, well enough and play the song correctly, she awards them the badge. And you can see we just started this year, and she's awarded as of today 576 badges, which is phenomenal. And those are only the badges you see here. She's added 3 more additional ones because students wanted more badges, right? So she has a camo badge, a neon badge, and I think a Christmas theme badge too, that students are trying to achieve and trying to earn. So again, it goes back to that motivational piece, right? Students want something tangible. They want to be working towards something, and badging, I think, definitely accomplishes that. And then,
yeah, I think this is important to note too. We've really started to push badging all the way up to our professional development. So our professional development is all housed in Canvas, whether it even takes you to a site outside of Canvas. Every one of our professional developments at this point starts in Canvas. So our teachers are becoming students in those classes, which is fantastic. What we've learned is while the students, respond to that motivation of the gamification of things, our teachers do too. So these are just a couple of tweets about some teachers that achieved those badges and pushed it out on Twitter, which is really exciting to see.
yeah, absolutely. And anytime we can kind of incorporate badging, we try to intentionally as well. So our teachers, I think they do enjoy it. Like Mr. Koenig says, it's that gamification that I think our teachers enjoy as well. And something that we're working on currently is with our great second grade teachers at Central Elementary. So Allison Grimm, Angela Giral, who's the Canvas Educator of the Year. So very fortunate to have her a part of Elizabeth Forward. And then Dana DeSecco as well as this second grade mastery pathway. Inside Badger, you can create pathways of badges. So one badge leads to another. And we thought, this absolutely works with math, right? Because early on, as early in second grade, you have to understand, math at the beginning of the year leads to something, then to another, one skill to another. And obviously you can see here, this pathway leads to this. And so we've been working on this. We've been fine tuning it as we go. And all of these right here on your screen are badges with the different lessons. We tied this to the curriculum that they use. with the standards as well. So it's definitely a passion project of ours, and one that we're continuing, like I said, to update to make it better and better. And when teachers see this, it's almost a roadmap, and it's also a roadmap for our students and parents as well.
This was my favorite day, Steve. We did play testing, right?
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
went over to our kindergarten classrooms and got to sit down with them and really try to find out whether or not what Steve and the kindergarten teacher what they created, whether it was effective with our most important clients, our kindergarten kids.
Right, absolutely. It's one of those things when anytime that we can get out of our offices and see, the hard work of our teachers and students in action, it makes all the work worth it, right? And so to see these smiling faces, behind the mask at that time, it is completely worth it, and then pointing at their badge and being excited to see that badge is something that's really special to us. And this is some more of those events. So this was actually, I think, from 2019, Mr. Connick, one of our first times out and about with Badger. And you can see the badging key rings that our students had, the badges that they're reviewing inside Canvas as well. So again, really just a special day for us. And not to toot our own horn at all, this is more just to showcase what you can achieve. So as of today, we have over 11,000 badges earned by our kindergarten students since 2019. And that's kindergarten, right? That's not including our professional learning, our music, and we've had badging in second grade. We have some in our middle school and even in our high school level as well. So again,
How about fourth grade science? We had a teacher with a great idea to create badges in fourth grade science. Everybody knows there's a PSSA for science in fourth grade, really aligning the skills that they need to be successful with the badges. Worked out really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, hopefully you can see from our presentation today that badging is worth it. In addition, it's really easy to do. And if you can house it in Canvas, then I think it's a win-win for your district.
I think that if you have any questions, we are excited. We worked with the IU and the folks from Instructure and Canvas to put together some of these things, these opportunities for learning in Canvas. We are excited to share what we know, and more importantly, to learn from you folks out there. So if you have any questions about badging, you can see that Steve is very, very well versed in how to get you set up. Or if you have anything beyond that with badging at kindergarten level, we would be happy to talk about that or anything Canvas related. If you have any ideas of how we can improve what we're doing, we'd love to hear about those things too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing that the pandemic has shown us that is school districts normally work in silos. And hopefully as this Canvas community in Southwestern Pennsylvania is growing, we can learn and share, with one another. And that was one of the purpose when Elizabeth Ford, met with the Allegheny Intermediate Unit in Instructure, was how can we grow this community? And we thought an event like this, although virtual, would be one way to do that. And please look forward to future events in person, fingers crossed, where we can continue to showcase what we're all doing and learn from one another. And because I think that's how we just get better, at our craft, better at using Canvas and really enhancing that experience for our teachers and our students as well.
Yep. Awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We really appreciate your time and hanging out with us and talking all things Badger.